Alright, let's take a detour to Fealty deck for today. This is House Stark Fealty. For this deck, I've done what I like to do with Stark, which is go in super hard on sacrificing my characters. I decided that I wanted Flea Bottom to be the restricted card, so there's no Wyman Manderley. The deck's a lot weaker now that you can't play Wyman and Flea Bottom together, but I think that's fine, because that combo was overpowered. That was way too ridiculous. But not being able to play Wyman Manderley also means there's not that many big characters that really stick out as being very good, besides just Robb Stark. I still have the 7-cost Catelyn, who's obviously good in a deck like this, but you're hoping to get her into play with Skagos on the 4-cost Catelyn. And we do have one Mage Mormont, because you can get her with the Bear Island Scouts. But it's actually not that much of a big characters deck, so there's no Great Halls. There's just like the 3 limited, or 9 limited, 3 each, Old Gate, Heart Tree Grove, and Rose Road, and we're counting on the Fealty to help us on economy. And then the rest of the deck is like a bunch of cheap, efficient, loyal Stark characters. I tried to make a bunch of them loyal, and mostly succeeded. We've got Daisy and Jon for obvious reasons, but other than that, everything else in the deck, besides the characters I've pointed out, is like cost 3 or less. So you have a lot of cheap stuff, which is important so you can keep playing more characters and sacrificing them. Like, you need to have spare, cheap, expendable characters to sacrifice if you're going to play a sacrifice-based deck. So that's what I went for. I've got these Umbra Loyalists. It's a loyal card. It has good stats. It's still on the cheaper end, cost 3. Makes it usable with Flea Bottom. It can be used with Skagos. And the ability is still pretty good, even if you end up having to discard for it. It's still probably worth it most times to draw 2, and then choose and discard like whatever the 2 worst cards from your hand were. So that's sort of my thinking there. I've got 3 I Am No One. This could also be Winter is Coming, but I'm not really an aggro deck. Although you could certainly go in that direction, and by instead of Flea Bottom, you play like Ward, and then you put in Ramsay Snow and all that garbage. I don't really like doing that, so I'm not. I'm playing I Am No One instead, because it helps win challenges and draws more cards, and I really want to draw through my deck and find combo pieces and find answers, like drawing Milks and Mirror Read is really important. And we've got 2 North Remembers, another way to activate Sacrifice. I like this card. It's a cute card. It's not really that great, even in a deck like this, but it's playable in this deck, and I like it, so that's why we have it. Same thing with Needle. Not that great of a card, even in a dedicated sacrifice deck, but it does work in the deck, and I like it, so that's why I'm playing it. Then, of course, we have Winterfell. Winterfell is useful in general, but it's really good if you have a really wide board, because then +1 to everything is a really big boost if you have like 5 or more characters. And you definitely like to go wide with this deck if you can. And what you like to do is go wide and then use Return to the Fields, which is really powerful if you can like play the 3 Bear Island Scouts and then do Return to the Fields, unless they flip Wildfire Assault. I really hate that Wildfire Assault has 7 initiative and Return to the Fields has 6. Because I've lost several games to that with this deck, and I will say that's kind of a kryptonite for this deck, is if they run Wildfire Assault. In theory, it's not a very common plot, but of course, since it's me trying to play the deck, I've literally had like at least 5 games in the past few days where people just randomly had Wildfire Assault, and I either lost the game to it entirely, or it made it way more difficult than it otherwise would have been when it turned my Return to the Fields into a 4-6-1 blank plot instead of a 4-6-1 draw 3. Likewise, Valar Dohaeris I think makes sense in the deck, because you actually don't have that many big characters, and even if you get one on the field, you're fine just having one and then like playing a bunch of small characters. So this is good if the other side makes a really gigantic board. And then we've got some pretty standard stuff. I don't have a dedicated draw plot in this deck. What I found was that I didn't really need more card draw, but I always needed more money. Like, I never had enough money to do everything that I wanted to do in any given turn. So I put in Fallen from Favor. It's high gold, and it obviously goes well with a sacrifice deck. I've been pretty satisfied with it. The deck is pretty good at having something that you don't mind sacrificing for Fallen from Favor. And it can be another way to put Mirror Read back into Shadows and Plot Phase, which can be pretty critical if people are trying to sniper with Valar Morghulis or whatever. So let's try and get a good game with this deck. I've had really garbage luck trying to record today. People disconnecting and really super one-sided games, one way or the other, things like that. Maybe we can finally get a good game. I'm hoping for no Greyjoy and no Martell, but let's be honest. That's asking for a lot. That is asking for a lot. So the new decks that I'm going to be playing this coming week after today is Targaryen Banner of the Sun and Tyrell Banner of the Night's Watch. Someone joined the game right as I was saying that, so I will save the explanations of those decks for their respective days. So it's Greyjoy because, of course it is, it's always Greyjoy, but at least it's not Sea of Blood. Knights of the Hollow Hill, huh? I don't know if that's really any good with Greyjoy. I guess we'll find out. Will be interesting if he's playing like a... I guess Greyjoy can play a reset-based deck, because they already like to play Valar Morghulis. But no, it looks like he's still going to try to go big, starting with Late Summer Feast. I already have Milk in hand. That's really good. You really super duper need Milk or Mirror Read, and ideally both against Greyjoy, to blank like Victarion and stuff like that. Otherwise, you're going to be in big trouble. This is a really good starting hand because I'm going to have Rob duped. Nefarious Acolyte, what the heck? That's a weird card. And this is important so that he can't get rid of Rob with Valar Morghulis. That's a really big deal. So I think we always play Skagos, since we have Rob. And let's see, what are we going to sacrifice with Skagos, though? The only card that we can pull out of our deck is the Winterfell Steward, so we won't kneel it. We'll keep it standing to use with Skagos. Let's give it Needle, since we're planning to sacrifice it. Let's put Milk on Asha, because we were always going to do that. And I don't have enough gold to play these other characters, which really sucks. It would be really great if I could play like Alysanne here. So it might be worth it to kneel the Winterfell Steward to marshal her. Probably is worth it. Yeah, because what's the use in standing the board with Rob's ability? If it only stands Rob himself, it's not that good. So let's do this. And then we still have the faction kneel available. We'll use that with I Am No One on Alysanne. So we can do the Rose Road instead of Old Gate. I think that was the most efficient way to play everything. Do I defend this? I definitely don't defend it. I mean, like, I let him win it. Question is, what do I pick for claim? Probably Rickon? Yeah, let's just do this. Because we're not going to use Skagos, so we might as well trigger Rob's ability there. I'm not even running Heir to the Iron Throne. Rickon is only here as a one-cost character to be sacrificed. If I could have an 8th plot, it would probably be Heir to the Iron Throne. But since there's not that many large characters in the deck, it's not super important. It's not as good as it otherwise would be if you were running a large, like a bunch of 6 and 7 cost characters. Darn, that was the best card in my hand. He has 0 gold, so I won't defend this. Probably wouldn't defend it anyways, but it would really hurt if he had 1 gold and he could play We Do Not Sow there. That would suck. Since we have 2 I Am No Ones, we might as well use one of them here and draw 2 cards. Now we can go for a noble cause, I think, and play mage. I think that's what I'll do. Definitely off to a good start. Summer Harvest. Pretty good. It's better that he does that on Noble Cause than that he does it on Fallen from Favor. Here comes another big character that's also getting milked. He also has a really juicy Dohaeris board, so I might save the milk and go for Dohaeris. I was planning to play Mage this turn, and then that's bad if I'm going to play Dohaeris. So let's see what we get off of this Umber Loyalist first. I should have kneeled my faction card there. Damn. Alright, we're playing Mage then. Seriously? I drew the third Winterfell Steward, so now I can't use Skagos on the Winterfell Steward that has Needle. That's really stupid. 37 cards in the deck. Did you really have to draw the third one? I don't appreciate that. Well, we can just use Skagos on Umber Loyalist. It's fine. Like I said, this actually shows some Flea Bottom synergy. We could, like, discard Septim Ordain into the Flea Bottom pile with it. Oh, I can't even play Mage now. I guess I can kneel my faction card and play her. There, exactly enough. So we still used the Noble Cause. It all worked out. Yeah, we're not going to defend this because of Golden Storm. I guess I can't defend this. I still don't have any intrigue icons. Darn, there goes my I am no one. Alright, we're going to do 2 challenges with Mage here. I should have done Rob in that challenge too, because I'm going to do Skagos. A little bit of a misplay. So that way I would get double Renown on Rob. Let's discard... I don't actually want to discard Sansa and Septa. They're pretty strong if I marshal them out together. So let's discard these 2. Winterfell Steward and Rob Duplicate. I don't think we need a third Rob Duplicate. We just need 1 so that he can't play Valar Morghulis. And the third one's not necessary. He might still do Valar Morghulis here. Just because the 2 milks makes my board a lot better than his. Like letting Rob and Mage sit here, getting 4 power from Renown every turn. I'm threatening to win next turn if I do that again, because I'm already at 10. So he might have to just do Morghulis. Do we want Fallen? Yeah, Fallen is fine. What did he do? Another 2 Summer Harvest? Okay, he got me. 2 Summer Harvest, a little bit weird. I guess I'll go first. At least it's not Wildfire Assault. I'd rather that they play 2 Summer Harvests than that they play Wildfire Assault. Oh man, I think if I marshal Big Catelyn, I can probably win this turn. That's going to be my game plan, I think. Definitely not smart to marshal her if I can't win with her this turn. But there's at least 2 Renowns here, and she'll claim 2 power with the event in Skagos. I think it's worth going for. Let's give it a try. Let's see if he's going to have his 3rd big character here. Yep, of course. He definitely made a scary board, but he's still more vulnerable to Dohaeris than I am, in my opinion. And hopefully I can just win before he can do any challenges. So first we do this. And he can actually defend this by 1 strength if he kneels everything. But it doesn't matter if he does that, because I still have the power challenge coming next. Alright, he blocked it. That's fine. That was like... I guess intrigue doesn't really matter either. But power is definitely more important than this challenge. He does get to stand Asha with Karl's ability, so... I guess that was pretty good for him. Now we do this. And we go all in on power. Or at least enough to win. So this is 9. This should be enough, right? 11? 11 to 11. I don't think there's anything he can do to win it. And now we do this. And we get 15 power. Wow. Got him, I guess. He just left the game without saying anything. He wasn't too happy about that, I guess. Well, that was probably the cleanest win I've had with this deck. And I'm definitely glad that it was against Greyjoy. But I will say this is... I think I beat Greyjoy maybe 1 or 2 other times. But I definitely have a losing win rate against Greyjoy with this deck. But I think that's true with every deck that I've been playing that's not also like Martell or Greyjoy. He's also playing the wrong versions of Victarion and Euron. So that's a big reason that we were able to do well in this game. If you play against the 6-cost Euron, they marshal that on turn 1, and you don't have Milk or like Mirror Read ready to go, then you just like lose right away. And even if you have Mirror Read, another mistake he made is not having any Drowned God Fanatics in his hand. Like, what are you playing Nefarious Acolyte for? I mean, he probably still runs 3 Drowned God Fanatics, because if you're Greyjoy and you don't run 3 Drowned God Fanatics, what are you doing with your life? But that card is also a huge problem, like canceling Robb Stark and stuff like that. But we did it. We got him, I guess. I do think the deck is fairly strong when you don't run into random Wildfire Assaults. It's just that Greyjoy at the moment is overpowered and Stark is not, so it can be hard sometimes. But if you go against decks that aren't like clearly over the curve, then this deck feels pretty solid. Very reasonable, strong, respectable. You have a game plan, you have answers, you have like a lot of resources in terms of, you know, you can see I have 9 cards in my hand here without playing any draw plots, and I still had old gates I could sacrifice and stuff like that. It's pretty good. So yeah,